lovelies. Today I have a book haul for you, so stay tuned. So I don't know exactly how long it's been since I did a book haul, but I've accumulated 14 books, which is a surprisingly small amount considering. But I've accumulated 14 books since the last haul I did for you. So let's just jump right in. I have books from Book of the Month. I also have books that were gifted to me for Christmas. So yeah, I'm way behind. All right, let's go with the Book of the Month first. The first one I have here is Good Spirits by Vacay. And I just noticed there's like sparkly on the snowflakes. I don't know if it's picking up on the camera or not. I love it. This says, he's the ghost of Christmas past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas past, Nolan Callahan intends to spend this holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. But as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together, and realize there might be more to moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's pasts, or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging in their unexpected spirited connection? This sounds very cute, and I will be saving this for Christmas time. Next up is We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark. That name is hard for me to say for some reason. Stacia Stark. Oh. And this has a map on the inside. It also has these beautiful sprayed edges. This says, from best-selling author Stacia Stark comes the epic first installment in a new series set in an ancient Roman world ruled by merciless vampires. Life in the perilous Thorn District is a constant battle for Arvel and her younger brothers, and the vampire standing on her doorstep is about to turn their world upside down. Faced with an unthinkable choice, Arvel makes a magically binding vow to do the impossible: kill the Emperor, an ancient vampire created by the god Umbros. But first she must enter the Sondering, an arena where only the fastest, strongest, and deadliest survive long enough to be selected for the Emperor's elite guard. She quickly draws the ire of the Primus, the powerful figure charged with protecting the Emperor. But the vampire under the armor is the last person Arvel expects to encounter in the Emperor's court. With her brother's lives in the balance, Arvel has no choice but to ally with the man who once shattered her heart. And with the Emperor's sadistic son, Rorik, two vampires whose motives are impossible to pin down, Rorik holds the key to understanding the powers Arvel is developing, abilities that would put a price on her head if discovered by the Emperor. To survive the arena and complete her mission, Arvel must get to the bottom of a conspiracy that will change everything she thought she knew about herself and the two vampires who are deeply entwined with her destiny. ... I think this sounds quite interesting. Next, we have Best Offer Wins by Marissa Cascino. And this one says, an insanely competitive housing market, a desperate buyer on the edge. Marissa Cascino's darkly hilarious debut novel asks, how far would you go for the house of your dreams? 18 months and 11 lost bidding wars into house hunting in the overheated Washington, D.C. suburbs. 37-year-old publicist Margot Mayaki gets a tip about the perfect house in the perfect neighborhood, slated to come up for the sale in 1 month. Desperate to escape the cramped apartment she shares with her husband, Ian, and in turn get their marriage, plan to have a baby, and whole life back on track, Margot becomes obsessed with buying the house before it's publicly listed, and the masses descend, with unbeatable all-cash offers in hand. A little stalking, harmless. A bit of trespassing, necessary. As Margot infiltrates the homeowners' lives, her tactics grow increasingly unhinged. But just when she thinks she's won them over, she hits a snag in her plan. Undeterred, Margot will prove again and again that there's no boundary she won't cross to seize the dream life she's been chasing. The most unsettling part? You'll root for her, even as you gasp in disbelief. Dark, biting, and laugh-out-loud funny, Best Offer Wins is a propulsive debut and a razor-sharp exploration of class, ambition, and the modern housing crisis. As one trying to currently sell a house, I'm very interested in this book. Okay, next up we have The Future Saints by Ashley Winstead. I learned about this from our live show with Ashley. I'll link that up above if you haven't seen that. But this seems very different than her other books. This says, The Future Saints' long-awaited big break is here, if only they can survive it. When ambitious record executive Theo first meets the Future Saints, they're playing a dive bar in their hometown. Since the tragic death of their last manager, the band has been in a downward spiral, and Theo has been dispatched to reverse the trend by coaxing a new successful album out of them, or cut them from the label. Immediately, he's struck by Hannah, the group's lead singer, wildly talented but wholly unpredictable. She's gone off script by debuting a new sound, replacing their signature California pop with gut-wrenching rock, and she won't listen to anyone's direction, least of all Theo's, as she and her sister Jenny undermine him at every turn. When the Future Saints' new music goes unexpectedly viral, the bickering Saints get one last shot at the success they've been chasing. But it soon becomes clear that Hannah isn't prepared for the fame she spent her life craving, and her increasingly destructive antics jeopardize the band, her growing closeness with Theo, and worst of all, her relationship with her sister, the one person she was never supposed to let down. I am definitely looking forward to that one as well. I'm looking forward to all these books. Next up we have My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. This says, One house, one husband, two women. Someone is lying. Eden Fox, an artist on the brink of her big break, sets off for a run before her first exhibition. When she returns to the home she recently moved into, Spyglass, an enchanting old house in Hope Falls, nothing is as it should be. Her key doesn't fit, a woman eerily similar to her answers the door, and her husband insists the stranger is his wife. 6 months earlier, a reclusive Londoner called Bertie, reeling from a life-changing diagnosis, inherits Spyglass. This unexpected gift from a long-lost grandmother brings her to the pretty seaside village of Hope Falls. But then Bertie stumbles upon a shadowy clinic that claims to be able to predict a person's date of death, including her own. Secrets start to unravel, and as the line between truth and lie blurs, Bertie feels compelled to right some old wrongs. My Husband's Wife is a tangled web of deception, obsession, and mystery that will keep you guessing until the last page. Prepare yourself for the ultimate mind-bending marriage thriller and step inside Spyglass, if you dare, to experience a story where nothing is as it seems. I love a story like this. Next up we have Most Eligible by Isabel Engel. It says she's not there for love. This says, she's undercover, he's unforgettable. Is this for real? Georgia Rose is not only on the hit reality dating show Love Shack to Find Love, she's there to write a killer expose on the producers, which will guarantee the journalism job of her dreams. But when Georgia's unforgettable one-night stand from the year before, country singer Rhett Auburn steps into the Malibu mansion as the season's new host, all her carefully crafted plans unravel. Caught up in the drama of backstabbing contestants, producer blackmail, and death-defying dates, Georgia must keep her identity and history with Rhett a secret. Despite the lies between them, it isn't long before Georgia and Rhett's heated behind-the-scenes moments start to feel more genuine than the romance Georgia's faking for the cameras. But with her assignment unfinished and the executive producer on her tail, a second chance with Rhett could be her riskiest move of all. Okay, I am a sucker for those kind of shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and I really love books like that. Yeah. Next up we have Rings of Fate by Melissa De La Cruz. It's a very shiny cover. It also has these pretty sprayed edges. And yeah, I think that this and the other one are the only ones. We have some art on the inside. The back says, "Not your average fairy tale." Love it. This says, "She's a barmaid who doesn't believe in fairy tales. He's a prince cursed to live one. Erin Bellamore has no interest in being anyone's princess. She's too busy running the Raven's Beak Tavern, fending off unwanted marriage proposals, and dreaming of escape. But when a brush with death and a dangerously handsome stranger up in her life, Erin finds herself bound to a bargain that could change everything. Prince Diadon has carried the cursed rings of fate, ancient weapons of devastating power since childhood. The magic is killing him, and the enemies are closing in. To make the journey to reverse his curse, he needs a bride to hide his secrets. Erin wants freedom. Pretending to be his fiancée should give them both what they want. But as their perilous journey pits them against political schemes, monstrous Kilindrar, and a growing attraction neither can deny, the line between make-believe and destiny begins to blur. And the fate of two kingdoms may depend on whether a cynical barmaid and a cursed prince are willing to risk their hearts." This sounds like fun. Okay, next is actually a book that I have already read, but I had it on my wish list because I didn't own it. And that is Tag You're Dead by Catherine Foxfield. This says, "A prize worth killing for." When teen reality superstar Anton Fraser reveals his latest stunt, a live-streamed citywide game of tag in which the prize is to be one of his personal assistants, his fans go wild. 100 of Anton's followers are chosen to compete and are outfitted with body cams, GPS trackers, and pressure sensors that, if activated by a competitor, will disqualify them from the game. Contestants are split into chasers and runners and are let loose into the night to hunt one another down, while the whole world watches. But it's not all fun and games. 4 players have darker motives for joining the game of a lifetime: money, obsession, and revenge. And one of them will do anything, including killing the competition, to be the victor. And I really enjoyed this. Okay, next up I have The Coven and the Cursed by Harper L. Woods. I have read The Coven and definitely enjoyed it and wanted to continue. So now I have both. And this is what the edges look like. So pretty. So I'll read you about The Coven. Also, the inside, the flowers match what's on the edges. The same with this one. Okay, this says, "Revenge. Raised to be my father's weapon against the coven that took away his sister and his birthright, I would do anything to protect my younger brother from suffering the same fate. My duty forces me to the secret town of Crystal Hollow and the prestigious Hollows Grove University, where the best and brightest of my kind learn to practice their magic free from human judgment. There are no whispered words here, no condemnation for the blood that flows through my veins. The only animosity I face comes from the beautiful and infuriating headmaster, Alaric Grayson Thorne, a man who despises me just as much as I loathe him and everything he stands for. But that doesn't mean secrets don't threaten to tear the school in two. No one talks about the bloody massacre that forced it to close decades prior, only the opportunity it can afford to those fortunate enough to attend. Because for the first time in 50 years, the Coven will open its wards to the 13. 13 promising students destined to change the world. If the ghosts of Hollows Grove's victims don't kill them first." Dun, dun, dun. I enjoyed this and I definitely want to continue. Okay, this next book is another one that I have read. It was something that Kayla from Books and Lala read and really enjoyed. And I had it on my wish list. I think this was something that one of my book buddies of the month selected as a required read for me one month. And it's a weird book, and I surprisingly really enjoyed it. And that is Little Eyes by Samantha Schweblin. It's also a rather small book. This says, "A visionary novel about our interconnected present, about the collision of horror and humanity, from a master of the spine-tingling tale. They've infiltrated homes in Hong Kong, shops in Vancouver, streets in Sierra Leone, town squares in Oaxaca, schools in Tel Aviv, bedrooms in India. They're everywhere. They're here. They're us. They're not pets or ghosts or robots. They're real people. But how can a person living in Berlin walk freely through the living room of someone in Sydney? How can someone in Bangkok have breakfast with your children in Buenos Aires without your knowing? Especially when these people are completely anonymous, unknown, unfindable. The characters in Samantha Schweblin's brilliant new novel, Little Eyes, reveal the beauty of connection between far-flung souls, yet they also expose the ugly side of our increasingly linked world. Trusting strangers can lead to unexpected love, playful encounters, and marvelous adventure. But what happens when it can also pave the way for unimaginable terror? This is a story that is already happening. It's familiar and unsettling because it's our present and we're living it. We just don't know it yet. In this prophecy of a story, Schweblin creates a dark and complex world that's somehow so sensible, so recognizable, that once it's entered, no one can ever leave. And I think I want Marty to read this because I think he would also really enjoy it. Okay, next up we have The Imaginary Corpse by Tyler Hayes. This says, in a world where Toy Story meets Sin City, a dinosaur detective battles his own trauma and a remorseless serial killer hell-bent on shaking up an already messed up town. Tippy the Triceratops was once someone's best friend, a sunshine yellow toy detective imagined to help make sense of the world. But inescapable tragedy forced Tippy to be set aside, still loved, still real, but now abandoned. So he found a home in the underbelly of the imagination, a place called Still Real. But friends keep disappearing here, and Tippy is left chasing a mysterious figure who can do the impossible, kill an idea, permanently. With fear and anxiety already ripe on the streets of Playtime Town, Tippy must face his own demons before all that's left is imaginary corpses. Introducing a fantasy noir of an entirely different breed. And the main character is a dinosaur. Next up, we have Twice by Mitch Albom. I read another book by him. I think it was The People You Meet in Heaven, or The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, something like that. And I loved that book. And I wanted to give a book of his a try. This says, what if you got to do everything in your life again? Mitch Albom's newest novel is a stunning love story about a life of second chances and how our unchecked temptations may cost us everything we've had all along. When he is 8 years old, Alfie Logan discovers the magical ability to get second chances. He can undo any moment and live it again. The one catch, he must accept the consequences of his second try, for better or worse. He grows up correcting his mistakes and saving himself from adolescent embarrassments. He takes wildly foolish risks to see what it's like to tempt danger and even death. Eventually, Alfie turns his gift to his love life, redoing moments to make himself more appealing to his many crushes. In time, he falls deeply in love with Gianna, the woman he believes is the one. But as the years pass, the relationship is challenged. Alfie's eye begins to wonder. He had been warned of a lone caveat to his power. If you undo a love, that person can never fall in love with you again. Knowing if he gives in to temptation, he may risk losing what he has with Gianna. Alfie makes a choice that changes his life and Gianna's life forever. The book begins many years later, after an ailing Alfie is arrested on suspicion of cheating to win millions at a casino roulette wheel. As a grizzled detective interrogates him, he slowly uncovers Alfie's incredible story and its most unlikely conclusion. In Twice, America's favorite storyteller, Mitch Albom, is at the height of his powers, a love story that is enchanting, probing, and clairvoyant in matters of the heart. Twice will make you smile, weep, think about your own second chances, and overflow with love from beginning to end. So I'm very curious on how this one will go. Okay, the final book that I have here, this one was not from Marty. This one was actually from Marty's mother, Kathy. She got me The Darkness Within Us by Trisha Levenseller. And she got me this beautiful special edition. So the year before, she actually got me the first book in this series, which is The Shadows Between Us. She got me the special edition of that one. And she didn't even realize that that's what she was getting this time, was the sequel. But I have pulled up on Goodreads The Shadows Between Us so I could tell you about it. And I have read it, and I did enjoy it. This says, Alessandra is tired of being overlooked, but she has a plan to gain power. 1. Woo the Shadow King. 2. Marry him. 3. Kill him and take his kingdom for herself. No one knows the extent of the freshly crowned Shadow King's power. Some say he can command the shadows that swirl around him to do his bidding. Others say they speak to him, whispering the thoughts of his enemies. Regardless, Alessandra knows what she deserves, and she's going to do everything within her power to get it. But Alessandra is not the only one trying to kill the king. As attempts on his life are made, she finds herself trying to keep him alive long enough for him to make her his queen, all while struggling not to lose her heart. After all, who better for a shadow king than a cunning, villainous queen? And I so loved it. Okay, so those are all 14 books that I have accumulated since my last haul. Have you read any of them? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!